example of a density problem, and look at the formula they give us. Notice that, of course, they give us the formula, and this is a part 1 question. It's multiple choice, and usually on a part 1 they'll give us the equation to help us solve the problem. So if we get a question about something we don't understand, let's say we had never spoken about density, you could still tell from this formula that to find density, we take density, which equals mass, over volume, which equals mass divided by volume. And don't forget that also means that since mass divided by volume gives you density, well, that means density times the volume gives you the mass. And we can keep going with this. If density equals mass divided by volume and density times volume equals mass, well then the density divided by the mass will give you the volume. So all of these could be useful. In this problem, we're told that this person, Brianna, researches the density of corn syrup for a science experiment, and the mass of 50 milliliters of corn syrup is 69 grams. Just be careful. Just because the word mass is next to the measurement 50 milliliters doesn't mean that 50 milliliters is the mass. If we read this sentence carefully, it says the mass of this amount of corn syrup is 69 grams. So the mass equals 69 grams. That means that the volume equals 50 ml, which is milliliters, and typically liters represent a volume and grams represent a mass. We want to know what is the density in grams per milliliter of corn syrup. So they're even telling us it's grams per milliliter. That's another way of saying grams divided by milliliter. So here we take 69 grams divided by 50 milliliters. Now here's a part 1 question. We don't have a calculator, but before we do this, let's look at our choices. This is saying 69 grams divided by 50. That means how many times does 50 go into 69? Well, look at our choices. 119, 1.38, 3,450, and 0.7246. Well, 50 times 1 is 50, and there's 19 left over. So 50 goes into 69 once, with a little bit left over. So the only choice that makes sense is B, which is 1. So 50 goes into 69 once, and there's a little bit left over. And if you had to figure this out, you could use long division, but we don't need to in this case. 3,450 does not make sense. 0.7246 also does not work because 50 goes into 69 at least once, and 119 again does not make sense. So our answer is B, 1.38.